Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder. We are finally back in the studio for the first time in 2022. The last time we were in this studio, boys, we were absolutely levered. Still rough. Still rough. Well, quite frankly, me and Kieran Alder just recovering from the bevy last night. But we'll get on to that in a moment. We'll get on to that. Thank you to G4 Claims for having us, and thank you for our audience for sitting by patiently as they've waited for this episode of the show. McGinley, I'll start with you. You're a tired boy this morning. You were up till, what time were you up to last night?
About 5 o'clock.
Some things don't change over 3 weeks, huh?
It's true. I mean, ever since I had the vid.
The vid, is that what you're calling it? Is that what
down with the kids now.
I was about to say, is that what the youth are calling it now?
No, it's completely fucked my sleeping pattern. I mean, it was already bad to begin with.
You better get it sorted for tomorrow, boy.
Call it like Clive Tilsley calls it, the COVID.
Is that what he calls it?
When he was commentating on the Palace Millwall game, he was saying players out with COVID. Am I hearing this right?
Did you see Jim Beglin yesterday?
Oh, aye, empty had. Good on him.
He totally went that, didn't he?
Aye. McGinley, before we move on to Kieran Auld, I've got to pull you up about something, mate.
Here we go.
I've been waiting for this moment, right?
For how long?
For since Christmas Day, I believe. Christmas Day, I've wanted to pull you up about this on the podcast. So on Christmas Day, you uploaded a photo to your Instagram. Are you having your Christmas dinner now? Why on earth did you take the photo halfway through the fucking meal? It's been bugging me for fucking weeks, man. You're sitting there, your plate, and it's half eaten fucking dinner. Why did you not take it before you ate or after you ate it?
Just for the authentic feel. I wanted people to, because no one else was sitting with me with Christmas dinner, or they were, but it was socially distanced. So I wanted everyone else to be sitting with me.
Wait, did you have to set up the camera for a timer cam for that?
No, I think it was my wee brother that actually took the photo.
So he just scrapped the social media.
I was taking ages to eat my Christmas dinner, and I was like, I don't know what could have happened in about 2 or 3 minutes time, so I need to take a picture.
Honestly, I remember me and Beans both just laughing away.
You know.
In the comments, I was just...
Because they're both a bunch of pricks.
You were getting it tight last night, I know, we'll come on to Cara Starfelt, we'll come on to that later on the show, but honestly, I've been waiting weeks to just talk about that photo. If you've not seen it, go to Ryan's Instagram. You'll appreciate the follow anyway. It's
a private photo. Yeah, private profile. A private profile, so you have to follow me first.
Well, there you go. He's just asking for followers.
An incentive.
And then obviously the left hand side of the table, Kieran Auld, who is rough this morning for the viewers. You've just got to have him here rough, haven't you?
Yep. I mean, that's what a Sunday early morning recording is.
Yep. I know. I've actually missed the Sunday recordings. I know that.
I've not.
No, me neither.
I know that it's hard sometimes when you've been out and you're having a drink and all the rest of it, but I feel like it's just the perfect time because you've got games to review and then you've got midweek maybe, and I just don't know. I've missed the Sunday shows. I mean, they are a task though if you've had a drink,
which is most Sunday shows.
I know.
At least we got a game on the Monday.
I was sick this morning.
You were sick?
Sick everywhere.
I feel sick.
Aye, all over the fucking floor. Right. Before we talk about Celtic, just a couple more things I quickly want to mention. So this is the first show of 2022, and we thank you all for the support you gave us in 2021. Us two here, Callum Craig, who should be on one of the upcoming shows, we thank you for the support. 52 weeks in a year, as we all know, boys. And last year, 46 episodes, fantastic. Thank you too for fucking coming to the majority of them. And in that time on YouTube alone, 372,000 views over 46 shows. An incredible statistic. Absolutely baffling. Truly up there at the top.
Imagine if we actually talked sense, how many views we'd get, man, honestly. Maybe we'd get less.
And obviously that can't be done without you guys listening at home, so we hope 22 is just as successful. So yeah, it'll be a real laugh this year as we go on bigger and better things, as we approach a very fun time for me as I am staring at the face of redundancy. So YouTube might be the
Tesco away.
Yeah, Morrison's might give you a shout with that fucking fish on.
Fuck off. David's gave me that before. Right.
Like a Morrison's face.
Finally, before we start talking about Celtic, I know I've been bammling on for 5 minutes here and I've not even fucking started talking. A big shout out to my cousin Andrew Cruz, who wrote his own wee song over the past week or two, and it's live on YouTube. I'll put the link in the top line of the description. Some fantastic work. It's about Tommy Burns, Family, Faith and Football, I believe it's called. He sent it to me during the week, and it turns out that I am not the most talented man in the family. Joking, that's big-headed of me. But absolutely fantastic. I'll put it in the line of the description if you're into that sort of thing. Just a wee tune about Tommy. His hero wrote it himself. It's up on the tube, and you can check that out. But now it's time to talk about Celtic, and where else but better to start on this joyous Sunday morning, none other than the news of our star striker, Lee Griffiths, apparently gone. The contract has been terminated. Lee Griffiths looks as though he's left Celtic Football Club. The news broke last night, the Record reporting on it. It looks as though Celtic have terminated the contract and will be leaving the club at the end of January. Me and Kieran were together last night, of course, having a drink when the news dropped. And Kieran, nothing but utter jubilation when we seen that news.
I know, absolute buzzing that we finally let him go. We should never have been in the position for us to have to get to this stage to let him go. Should never have been given the contract in the first place. You had people back then backing him. Even John Hartson on Twitter, I fancy Griff for 25 goals this season is what he said. Jesus Christ.
How many is he on this season? One?
Even
2?
Not a clue.
2.
I think it might be 2.
Two goals scored, one flare kicked into the away stand.
Yep, fantastic return there.
But just an absolute waster of a guy. Everybody knows about everything that's happened with him over the past few years. You still get the odd person, I think it is very much in the minority now, that will defend him to the...
Well, Christ, I tell you what, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I went on Facebook this morning,
on last night,
and I didn't deliberately do it. You probably went on deliberately to see what folk were saying. I just went on Facebook this morning. I rarely go on Facebook nowadays, and it was the first thing that came up my feed was one of these Celtic groups like Celtic FC News Now or whatever, and it was about Griffiths. And I was like, for a laugh, I'm going to click on the comments here, and oh my God Almighty, every single comment was like, "What a shame! Oh, what a player! It shouldn't have ended this way," and all that kind of nonsense. I'm like, well, I can understand that notion. It shouldn't have ended this way, you know, if he just watched what he was doing with his career and all the rest of it. But there is still some amount of folk out there that are supporting him and giving him all. He's a waster, man.
I know.
And
I just
it's
don't get
baffling.
it. I'm trying to stay off looking at the Facebook pages because it just riles me up. The sheer idiocy that I see on there.
Aye.
And I knew the day would have been the exact same if I went on. So I'm going to try and refrain from looking at it because I cannot be bothered looking at some of the absolute shite that gets spoken there, especially regarding Griffiths, because the sort of leniency that's been granted to Griffiths has only happened because he's Scottish over the past few years. You look back at the way Edward was treated by some of the support for being lazy and sham, but you've got Lee Griffiths, the biggest waster this club has seen for many years. Yep. And he's lauded as a hero by these people, and it fucking disgusts me.
Yeah, and especially after the antics and the summer there, you know, I just feel like it is foolish to come out and defend him. And look, I know a lot of people will start playing, you know, the kind of mental health card along with that, and look, there's absolutely no way I'm disregarding the mental health of Lee Griffiths. We know he's had his struggles, and I don't wish bad mental health upon anybody. I think that, you know, that should be the priority of him.
It just doesn't mean you're immune for
but you know,
getting called out for being an actual wronging.
Yeah, exactly. He took part in nonce behaviour, and he deserves to be called out for it. He deserves to be.
You can't play the mental health card when you've done that.
No, you cannot.
When you've messaged somebody of a certain age.
Yep.
When
you
you're
can't play the
30
mental.
odd.
Aye.
Yep.
He's reverted to type, unfortunately. This was always going to be the case with Griffiths. We took him, when was it, 2014? Start of 2014 we signed him. We knew, did they not come in and then a couple of days later he was singing racist songs?
Yep.
He's always been this sort of guy, but we kind of looked past it for a while because he scored a lot of goals. And you know, a guy that had over 100 goals for Celtic should be considered like a really good player.
Yeah, this is the thing. He's part of a sort of, and you can't use the word elite when talking about him, but the fact of the matter is, he's part of this elite group.
I know.
There's Celtic players who've scored over 100 goals. There's not many of them.
No,
I think it's about 20 players in our history that have scored over 100 goals, and he's one of them. This should be a guy that we are, you know, cherishing. This should be a guy we're applauding as he leaves the club. But through his own behaviour, he's left in this manner. He's through his career down the pan. And the prime example, like, my dad loved Griffiths, as every dad does, right? My dad absolutely adored Griffiths, and for all the time I just hear Stevie always going, he had it on a plate and he threw it away, and that is it. He did. He had it all there in front of him. He will never. I know he's 31 year old now, so he was never going to go higher than this. But for years now, he stopped his career from going any further. Both at Celtic and further from afield of Celtic. He was never going to play for a higher level in this club, and he threw that away.
Yep, I feel like he was there 2 years too late, to be honest. As soon as after lockdown, when you're trying to get ready for the 10 and he was coming in overweight, eating kebabs and stuff, wasn't doing TikToks, and not being fit enough to even go away on the French trip. If Neil Lennon's saying you're unfit, then
that's when you know it's the end of the line.
I cannot believe he was allowed 2 years after that.
Yeah,
incredible.
The contract extension in the summer was utterly bizarre, and I think I'm glad that it seems, and according to the report by the Record, there is something in the contract that allows us to terminate this deal.
Smart.
So that was a good thing to add on, but still we have wasted 6 months for a wage on this guy, and that's utterly baffling to me. I don't know why it was extended. I mean, granted, this was before, of course, the kind of photos emerged and the leaks emerged from his conversations, so we didn't really have that to throw into judgment, but the fact that contract was given to him was utterly baffling, and I feel like surely Ange Postecoglou had nothing to do with that decision. You seen Ange talking about him in the media the other day. He just didn't want anything to do with him.
Feels as if professionalism's returned to Celtic, to be honest, after a 2-year hiatus.
Yep.
I know.
Neil Lennon, I don't know if he had a sort of sympathy for him or a liking that he wanted to keep him around, but he should have been gone long ago. He should have been gone long ago.
For me, I think Griffiths was sort of like the last stand. Those sort of old school players, the players that could get away with a certain type of diet, a certain way of living, and still do the business as long as they were scoring goals.
Yep.
But I feel like now he can't really live in this footballing world anymore, where you have to be professional. You need to be a 24-hour athlete.
There's no you see players that have kind of the same mould as him, like your Jason Cummins, but Jason Cummins is an absolute waster and all.
I know. There's a reason he's struggling to get a game at Dundee, never mind anything else, These characters, you do love a character in football, but I wouldn't call Griffiths a character. He's just an absolute waster. And that's it. And I know that there's got to be people in this comment section that will still blindly defend him, and they'll say, the way we talk about him and all the rest of it is shocking, but he's done himself no favours and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it.
For the past 5 years at Celtic, he's basically stole a wage. The way he's conducted himself, even back when Brendan Rodgers was here, first season he kind of got his act together a wee bit and was doing alright, but after that it's just the injuries and that didn't help, but he never showed any real hunger to actually get back into the team, and when he did, it was sparingly and wasn't good enough, frankly.
Yep, I mean that could be an understatement. But he leaves after scoring 123 goals for Celtic, 7 Premiership titles, 3 Scottish Cups, 4 League Cups, and it looks as though he'll stay at Dundee to the end of the month. What do we see next for the Griffiths NDC? Dundee? I don't even think Dundee want to keep him on. They want rid of him.
If Dundee want to take him on, then that's their decision. But I don't see what he's shown this year to warrant paying wages to him.
And he's going to struggle to get a club, I think.
Livy, maybe because he used to play for them, but even then I don't know if they'd...
When my dad picked us up last night and we were talking about it in the car with my dad, you obviously put forward the suggestion of I think
he needs to go down south.
I mean, if that's playing at League 2, League 1, he's got to go down there.
He just needs to get away from Scotland.
He does. He needs a fresh start. And he needs... Look, listen, if the way he's gone with the weight and the fitness levels, I wouldn't be surprised if he just chucked it all together, to be quite honest. But he needs to go down south for the better of himself.
If I was him, I'd go down south. Try and get away from Scotland, because they can't rightfully take Doug's abuse regardless of where he goes up here.
He'll probably get Doug's abuse down there too.
Once they find it.
Yep, once they find it, and also when the antics probably start down there as well with his behaviours and such. That's probably how the way it'll go.
But enough time spent on Lee Griffiths. Hopefully that is the last time
that'll be it. Probably the last time he'll get mentioned on my channel for a long time.
I know. Just wait until you see the professionalism difference between Griffiths and our new striker that we've got.
Yes, Dyson Maida. However, before we do move on, there's one point I want to make about Griffiths. I want to see the man that he does go in, because I think if he's got any brains around him, he'll leave quietly and he'll thank everyone for his time and move on for it. But I don't know why. He just strikes me as the sort of guy there's going to be like a story in the Record 2 weeks later of some bitter fucking, annoyed that he's been let go and he's just going to complain about something. I don't know. I just see it coming.
Got to make his money somewhere.
I don't know. I just have a feeling. But hopefully he does leave quietly and, for the best of himself and the best of his career. But As he leaves, we move on to the next. We move on to talk about Dyson Maeda. We move on to talk about Kyogo Furuhashi. We move on to talk about the elite players at Celtic Football Club. Celtic are back in action. It's been a long winter break, Ryan. It's been, almost an eternity, it feels like, without Celtic playing.
Now,
3 weeks since we've been last in the grounds, and that was, the last time we were in the grounds was coming up a month ago now.
It's crazy.
So it's mad. The winter break was moved, and we're not going to get into that whole debacle, but I guess you're just happy we're back tomorrow, Ryan.
Absolutely delighted. Last night, it was 4 weeks without the UFC, and tomorrow it's 3 weeks without the Celtic.
Worst sport.
Yeah, I know you hate it.
Hate the UFC.
You love wrestling, so I
don't even get me. The amount of times we've been sat at Gaff watching UFC and he's saying shit about how wrestling's better, I'm off.
I can hear him already. But no, I'm absolutely buzzing for tomorrow. It'll be great to be back, great to see everybody around us, and a full stadium as well.
Yeah.
Thank God our glorious leader is allowing us back into the football.
Leader. Sturgeon's let us back in, Kieran, after a few weeks off. You buzzing to get back to 4-1-2 tomorrow night?
Why? I mean, I just don't understand why there was actually any locking out of the fans in the first place, but I'm glad we've gave it the chance to come back with full stadiums, and who'd have thunk it? We're all right.
Yeah. So
10 of the 12 clubs. Thank you to Motherwell, thank you to St Johnstone, thank you to all these other clubs for voting this in so that we could get Jota back for the derby.
I was going to lead into my next question. Said I know I said I didn't really want to get into the whole politics around it, but I was wondering if you had
weirdos, man.
I was wondering if you had a wee
the
rant
strangest people on the fucking planet, honestly. Like, the way they twist everything to be a conspiracy against them, the cheek they've ever had to try and call us playing victims. They are the biggest victims on the planet. Oh my God. The past month on Twitter has just they've just showed themselves up even more so, because it has been frankly embarrassing the way they've tried to portray this as everybody against Rangers and how everybody's bowing down to Celtic so we can move it so they can get their players back. And like, we will be missing about 4 or 5 players on international duty when it comes to the Celtic Rangers game.
Yep.
They've tried to make it as if we didn't want it for fans. Now, oh, you know, you've got your signings in and all that.
Maybe they had the signings anyway. That's the funniest part. Like, we would have had them there.
I really don't get it. It's beyond weird the extents they'll go to try and portray this, and it's been fucking embarrassing to watch it the past few weeks. But it's a good laugh looking at them after there's such ferocity they had in saying that fans won't be back. This is all just for Celtic and that. Well, now fans are back.
They look
and
like
they're fucking raging about it.
They look like rock stars, yeah. No, they're a bunch of wankers. That's the way I put it.
It just seems as if this iteration of Rangers or whatever they are that's came into the league. When was it? 2016.
2016, yeah.
They're just very soft.
No one likes us. We do care.
Aye.
The previous one didn't put up with any of this nonsense. I thought they were more like fierce and all that, but this new version they're not.
It's just
they like to cry a lot.
Man.
The one that really, really, really got me was the 5 substitution change.
They've got a better bench than us.
I thought they've done nothing but take the piss out of their squad all season, and rightfully so, it's pissed in. But like now that we're getting a bit more reinforcement, but still they've got the biggest squad and, according to them, the best squad in Scotland. So why would they no load this up? Because they are benefiting more than any other club. Celtic and Rangers are benefiting for this rule change, obviously, because we've got the biggest squad sort of thing with more quality spread throughout it.
Yep.
But to try and honestly, like,
correct me if I'm wrong. Did every club not vote for that? For the 5 subs?
I've seen something on Twitter say, I've not really looked into it, but I've seen somebody say every club voted for it.
Yeah.
I mean, see, personally, I would rather we kept it at 3 subs, to be honest.
But it's understandable
like
in this time. I think it should stay 3 subs when we get to the point it can be, but with everybody dropping like flies to COVID and the fixture congestion at the moment in time because of backlog postponements and stuff, it's understandable at this moment in time.
Aye.
So I'm not going to complain about it. Rangers shouldn't be complaining about it.
No,
it is aiding them in every sense of the fucking word.
I've seen a few other fans that have actually used logic and said, well, what you're agreeing about this, it benefits us. I'm happy to see this until the end of the season, which is fair enough. But the people that automatically just jump to fucking, let's just help Celtic.
I know.
How twisted is your brain that you can't just see something for what it is?
As you said quite rightly, the last month on Twitter is, and look, we'll come to the derby when we come to it. Once again, I've been saying all season, a game at a time. But if we do manage to beat Rangers on the 2nd of February, I cannot be bothered with the reaction from Rangers fans when it comes to it. This is all because you shat it, you moved it, you shouldn't have won the game.
The shat it narrative that they've been trying to push is most things that they say is baffling.
Yep.
Because I just don't get it. It's as if they don't want to be in stadiums to watch these games. I've paid my money for my season ticket. I would very much like to see the first Celtic Rangers game in over 2 years.
I know,
at
we've not
Celtic
been to
Park.
one in 2 years.
But they go to theirs in August and no, they don't want Celtic to get it, and then they talk about sporting integrity and Jesus Christ, they love to throw that term a bit, didn't they, man?
It's a bit ironic, isn't it? Sporting integrity.
It's very fucking ironic.
You could pull them up for a couple of things. They're the sort of fan base.
Just some minor things, Ryan. Just some minor things.
That's it. But do you know, they're one of those. They're a fan base. If Celtic fans were to advocate for world peace, they would ask for genocide. Honestly, just to be on the other side of the Celtic fans.
Yeah.
They argue with everything.
Yep.
Do you not see logic here?
I know.
Most backwards people on the planet, man.
Look, there's a lot of no. Look, listen. This is a point I want to address before we start talking about Celtic and Hibs. I got a tweet directed at me the other night by a Rangers fan saying, "I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, Ryan. You're getting awful bitter. It doesn't suit you. You know, like a lot. I've done really well, I think, on YouTube over the last 5-6 years, and I've heard it firsthand off many Rangers fans of being, you know, as level-headed as possible and not being bitter on camera. Trust me, off camera, I'm a bitter man. But on camera, you know, I try my best. But when you look over the past month or two, maybe even extending a little bit further, there is a reason I'm being bitter about things like this, because it's pathetic. Quite frankly, and I'm not going to sit there and pretend like, oh yeah, I see a point in that.
Can we also just point out that this isn't a channel for Rangers fans either?
I know,
you just can come and watch in your droves if you want and sit and get raging in the comments, but at the end of the day, you're the one sitting on a Celtic fan channel, which is strange behaviour at the end of the day, because you wouldn't see me on.
I appreciate all the viewers.
Ryan's loving the money, but
look, listen, you know,
we're not here to be
there's a lot of
level-headed.
people that come to see opinion and leave fine comments and all the rest of it, but there's people say that I'm getting bitter, and especially on Twitter, and look, I'm not going to sit there and pretend I agree. If I don't agree with something, I don't agree with it. That's it. I'm never going to lie about an opinion. If I think Rangers are good, I'll say Rangers are good. If I think Rangers are bad, if I think they're bad. If I think that the fans are coming out with fucking bewildering opinions, I'll say that they're coming out with bewildering opinions. That's quite frankly it.
You're a busy man now, man. Every day of the week they're coming out with them.
Right, let's get on to talking about Celtic tomorrow night then. We take on Hibs in the return to Celtic Park, and it's the first time we'll come up against Sean Maloney since he has become manager of the Hibees. We took them on in the cup final, of course, and we beat them then. Can we beat them at Celtic Park tomorrow night, Ryan McGinley?
Be a difficult game, I think. I don't think this will be a walk in the park like some people are suggesting online. I see people thinking that we'll just turn up and win. Hibs are on form here since Aidan McGeady. My God, Sean Maloney came in. That's a terrible.
I just realised you said Aidan McGeady there.
I don't even know why I said that.
Why did you? Where did that come from?
McGeady sitting doing me half turns about the technical area, man.
I think youngsters coming into the Celtic team around at the same time, or not even the same time. I'm just thinking of small people like me. I don't know. No, since Maloney's came into the Hibs team, he seems to have reinvigorated them quite a bit. So it'll be a difficult game. Obviously, Hibs are missing a couple of players, but you're just hoping that these new guys that we can bring in can revitalise the team and sort of get us going. Yeah, 3 wins out of 3, I think, now for Maloney since he's arrived at the club, with big wins against Aberdeen, Dundee United. You know, so these 2 out of 2 it is. Sorry, my bad. 2 out of 2. So still big wins against Aberdeen and Dundee United.
Very teams tough that they'll be competing for.
Exactly. You're looking at a rejuvenated Hibs side, Kieran, a Hibs side that now probably really want to push on and get as close to Hearts as possible. So they're going to come, I think, tomorrow night, and they're going to bring an A game. They're going to bring Maloney is not going to want to return to Celtic Park in a fashion that they sit back and defend. They're going to attack this game.
Aye. But Hibs are going to go for it. There's no chance they're coming to sit in deep. And I mean, they can look at other teams and see that's a successful method against Celtic with a low block and that. But it's not going to be Sean Maloney's style. He's definitely got to go out and he's trying to build an attacking team. And I mean, it's good to see for the league in general to actually get teams like that playing decent football, but hopefully they don't play any decent football tomorrow night.
Yeah, they've made a couple of decent signings themselves, of course. The boy for Bodo Glimt.
Thank you,
Hibs, for joining in the Everybody Helps Celtic conspiracy.
Oh no, that's what it is. Hibs voted for the Hingy to be shut, so we would loan them players.
Oh, aye.
For the Hingy to get brought forward.
they've signed him. They signed that American boy, who also is part of the all Celtic everything propaganda wagon for his comments about Kaká. Fucking everything's a fucking propaganda, innit?
Yeah.
So you've got anybody you're looking out for particular tomorrow night?
Maybe Henderson if he gets a game. Coming back to Celtic Park.
Of course.
I don't know where he'll be.
Is he not on loan now?
Yeah.
Is he on loan?
So he'll be able to
so
play.
he is,
That's
so
right.
he
He's
is.
on loan into the
I
end
think
of the
he's on
season.
loan
was
to the end of the
smart by
season.
Brilliant,
Celtic, that was
brilliant,
smart.
very smart, very
Yeah,
clever.
Nicholson? Has he put a foot wrong yet?
Listen, we'll come on to talk about him towards the end of the show because we do need to have a discussion about Michael Nicholson.
Yep.
But there is a couple of players in there. You want obviously Martin Boyle, the £3 million man.
He's doing.
Will he be playing? Because obviously I don't know. He probably will, but I'm pretty sure he was very raging the fact he wasn't allowed to speak to that team for Qatar because he was getting offered. Like they said, $2 million isn't enough for Martin Boyle. I realised like, what Hibs holding it for, and he'll be fuming because that's life changing money to go out.
I could have set him up for life.
2-year contract here there. Just see it.
Can have a booze, but
Oh, you don't know if Martin Boyle's an avid boozer, is he?
well, it might be.
Professional athlete.
I know.
Thing is, though, it'd be good for his international career. Now, you would say that's the opposite for some moves, but for him, because that's quite near Australia.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite. It's the same for Rogic. Remember when he was getting linked with?
I wouldn't say it's quite near, but certainly nearer.
It's nearer,
Aye. And I think there's probably a few players in the Australian national team who have played in places like Qatar and such, so it probably would actually help him. It's a very good point, right? But £3 million is a ridiculous amount
I would
of
be
money
concerned
to
if Celtic were paying that amount of money for Martin Boyle, to be honest.
Yeah.
The thing that made me laugh most during the thing, even the Rangers stuff, it was the Celtic fans suggesting that we give Hibs, Griffiths and Mikey Johnson on loan and that so we can get Martin Boyle. I'm like, why the fuck would Hibs want Lee Griffiths?
I know. I feel like we need to surpass this myth of he could do a good job at Hibs.
I know.
It's not gonna
He
happen.
couldn't do a good job at Dundee.
Exactly.
Why would no, it's just that I chuckled every time I've seen somebody suggest that.
So
Time's just passing Griffiths back with that sort.
yeah,
Mikey
Just passing
Johnson's
back.
another one,
Hibs are professional.
yeah, and Maloney's professional. This is
Yeah.
a man who's just off the
They'll
back
demand
of.
good
This is a man
standards.
who's just been working with Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, fucking Thibaut Courtois, all these guys. You know what I mean? He's not going to suddenly go, aye, fancy wee Griffiths, bring him in, VT cake. Talking about Celtic then for this game tomorrow night, is this a brilliant opportunity to get these Japanese boys into the team tomorrow? Do you think we'll see them play?
I think you see all of them.
No.
Do you think even as substitutes we could see all of them?
I think he's going to bring them on just for the sake of it. I think
When the game needs them.
I don't think he's going to go on just to give them all a run out and a wee round of applause at Celtic Park, and that's not going to happen.
They'll probably get one anyway. They'll probably bring them out
I think
before
you'll
the
see
game or something.
Maida and I don't know. You've got the two other ones that are midfielders, but I've seen people speaking highly within that bounce game. The people that seen it, Ideguchi instead of
Really?
or Gucci as he would like to be called.
I've seen nothing about the bounce game, literally.
I only seen a couple of
oblivious to
things, but I've
happen.
seen people suggesting that. I feel weird calling him Gucci. I'm going to call him Ideguchi.
Yoski.
But I feel like I've seen a couple of people saying that he was the more standout out of the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's more experienced than
Yeah.
Hatate.
I was actually McGinley, I seen you put up your starting 11. This is my opinion still.
That's
I said
changed
it,
since
my video.
since
Is it
I've
changed?
looked,
Yeah.
aye.
So I seen you put up your 11. I seen a lot of people throw out their 11s, and a lot of people had Hatate and Ideguchi in the team. I think Maida will be the only one that starts tomorrow. I really do. You might not agree, but I think it would be Beaton, Rogic and McGregor. I don't see any reason why Beaton should be dropped from the team at the minute. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think in the last run of games, Beaton has been one of the most impressive players.
He has been brilliant over
I don't think he's going to throw in people into the deep end unless it's absolutely necessary. I think Maida will start because we need him to start, whereas with the other two midfielders, as long as we've got that midfield three you're talking about, I think he might wait for another game, maybe at the weekend against.
Because I think he'll certainly want to give them a run out before they could be possibly going away with the Japanese national team. But it's just a matter of how quickly that will actually come about.
Are they not meant to be leaving before Hearts?
Is it before Hearts?
I'm sure it is because I'm
It
pretty
will
sure the
be.
first game's
It will
the
be.
day after Hearts,
That's
and they
right.
kind of get from here to fucking wherever
Aye.
that quickly.
Aye.
So I reckon
Good point.
they'll have to. I don't know if he wants to play them. It will need to be the morning night and also against Alloa.
Alaba in the cup.
Alabi will be
Good game.
That's a good game to bring maybe Hatate in because I don't think Hatate will start. Like Kieran, I think it's only going to be Maida that will start. Looking back, you can't really drop Beaton from this team.
Right now, I don't think we can.
It might be hard to forget the sort of form that players are on because it's been a few weeks since we've actually last seen them play. But I mean, I think Maida will definitely start out in the left.
I think he will start on the left because I think they're going to start with Giakoumakis up front. I
think with Giakoumakis.
He's ready to come back.
He's ready to go. That's what Ange said.
It looks, just as we're talking about all of this, it looks as though Kyogo, as I'm just seeing just now, is going to be here. He's not going with the Japanese national team. I think that looks official.
Really?
I think so. I just seen it getting spoke about in the chat. I've not been able to have
There was a rumour that they saw Turnbull. Someone saw Turnbull and Kyogo going on a flight to Heathrow to see that specialist. Remember the specialist that Turnbull seen beforehand?
That's right.
Or was it Turnbull that said...
He's out for 2 months, isn't he?
He's going to be out for a while, I think.
Yep. So, he is injured, and it doesn't mean he'll be available for definitely for the derby or such. But that is news just there that I've seen. I'm waiting to find out confirmation. I've not had to scroll through Twitter or anything, but that would be massive if he manages to stay.
That's bad for Kyogo, but it's also bad because Kyogo is predominantly on the bench for Japan.
Yeah.
Now you look at the season that Maida's just came off of in Japan. You think that he might not be far off, maybe taking Kyogo's place in that team. So
yeah.
It's a bit worrying. It leaves you a bit light attacking wise.
Well, tomorrow night we do have the. So do you think Giakoumakis will start then over?
The more I think about it,
over Maida?
No, I think Maida play on the left.
Play on the left. Yeah, because
Kyogo not fit to start.
No, Kyogo's injured.
Is he?
So Kyogo can't play. Jota is just returning. I don't think we'll see him tomorrow at all. I don't think it maybe come off the bench for 10 or so minutes, but
it might be. I mean,
it's a bit touch and go, isn't it?
Forrest be ready to start.
Forrest is apparently ready. Yeah,
I reckon we'll have a front three.
I think Abada will start.
Yeah, me too.
Over Forrest.
Abada, but I mean, it might come down to it that if Jota's not available and then he doesn't play Giakoumakis, he could put Maida up front and then put Abada out on the left or Forrest out on the left that you've seen a few times.
What we need post this winter break though, and talking about the bigger picture of this game, we need to come out and we need to win, and we need to win well. I know it's a tough game, but we need to win well. This is massive now, of course, this build up to this game. We've not got a lot in between until we obviously play. Well, we've got quite a couple of games. We've got Hibs, now obviously the Cup, but in the league we've got Hearts and Dundee United. We cannot afford to drop any points between now and that derby game.
We can afford to drop points in December.
Yeah, exactly. That's in Mirren game. We need to pick ourselves up where we left off against St Johnstone. But those drop points against St Mirren were vital. They were huge. But we need to pick up all night now, and we need to start off with that tomorrow night. I think there's a real statement need to be made in that game tomorrow night.
Absolutely, and that's quite good in a sense because Hibs are one of those teams that you would want to make a statement against because they'll come out and try and play football. They won't sit behind the ball like your sort of Livingstones and St Johnstones, etc. So it's a suited game for us. You're just hoping that both teams come out and attack, that we'll get the better of them because we've got a more dominant attack when compared to Hibs.
Yeah, who you all buzzing to see the most? Then it can be anybody, even the players that we've seen all season. Because I'm just dying to see Joe Hart again.
You love Joe Hart.
I want to see Maida.
Maida. I want to see.
I
want to see this pace. It's like I don't know what I'm expecting. Am I expecting to go here and see Jesse Owens?
A fire behind him on the grass.
Now we watch clips of Kyogo and then we see him in person. We're like, he's quite quick. This guy is genuinely quick. Like
Kyogo is genuinely quick.
Kyogo's quick, but it's like
he's mentally quick. He's quicker than the defenders, but this guy is literally rapid.
Kyogo's come through his decisions and being a step ahead, and that's how it seems like he gets into these positions. But he's a really smart football player. But hopefully it's the same for Maida.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are always well drilled. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of partnership that could blossom here. I know we've not got Kyogo tomorrow night, but I'm just looking forward to seeing all that blossom all together, all the guys, and just really come to full force, because this is a real promising sort of unit we're building at the moment, I think, and it's really exciting. I'm personally all in on Ange's philosophy right Absolutely. Now. You know, I like this raiding of the markets, you know, the Japanese market. We tried to go and get Riley McGree, of course, who's Middlesbrough taking jabs at Celtic. That was very odd.
It's the highlight of their season.
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
Who is it that's in charge?
Warnock obviously got sacked.
Is it Wilder?
Oh, Chris Wilder, that's it. Aye.
Brexit ball.
Yeah.
We'll never hear of him again.
Imagine being a Middlesbrough fan. Just a miserable existence.
I mean, I'm not going to be pure bad about this guy choosing.
Nah.
Like, if you want to go in there and make more money, that's your choice. But
just imagine being a Middlesbrough fan. But
I know,
just a horrible thought. So
they always have our leftovers as well because they had Gordon Strachan after
he raided fucking Celtic. He took
Chris Boyd, McDonald, the Scottish league in general.
He took McManus. He took fucking
Robson,
Barry Robson, Scott McDonald. Fucking raided this man. That was fucking weird.
Halliday played for them at that time.
That's right. I think.
I'm guessing he's away from his consultancy role.
Strachan. God knows, I don't care really. No seen him on Celtic TV this year, so that's good. So let's kind of run through what we think will be the team tomorrow. I've already done it my channel yesterday, what I think the team will be. So I'll say the team that I think will play it, and you can tell me if you dispute any of the positions. So goalkeeper Joe Hart, of course. Despite Barkas' very impressive performance against St Johnstone, I think that Joe Hart will return to the squad. In the back four, there is conversation as to who it could be, and let's actually have a little bit of conversation for a moment about Carl Starfelt, because over the past couple of days there has been a sort of outburst on social media about Carl Starfelt. It feels like there is a section of the Celtic support who want Carl Starfelt to fail. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Starfelt fan, and I have been since he signed. I've sat there, and he's been one of my favourite outfield players. I've just really liked the guy, and I see the potential in him, but there seems to be, he has been dodgy. I'm not going to say he's been perfect, that's lies. He's had a couple of moments. But there seems to be a section that are proper against him.
Yep.
And I don't know why. I think he's better than Stephen Welsh.
I don't even think that's a question. Come on.
I know.
I really like Stephen Welsh, and he has improved this season.
Yeah.
Carl Starfelt's a Swedish international.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get real for a second here.
This whole thing's really shown how bold people are with the football, because it just came right out of the blue.
I know. It literally spawned from nowhere. I think one person put up
my Trickter putting up a tweet. I don't even know if it actually was a Trickter or like
signing off the tweet.
Ken.
Yeah.
Is that your name?
As you will.
But fucking, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I've been on this podcast. I've been very outspoken about the fact that I do think he's got dodgy moments, but I can see that he is a decent player. I've been a very big advocate for trying to rein it in a wee bit, because there's Celtic fans, we're very reactionary, and it's like it's on Twitter, there's a lot of people, and it's sort of to do with like even like some of the younger fans you see on Twitter, and it's like when something's gone good, it's gone brilliant, they get carried away with it. When something's bad, like something bad happens, it's fucking they're the worst. It's just so polar. Like 1 minute everything's gone brilliant, and then the slightest wee thing happens, and it's not even in terms of players as well, but like even in terms of the title race and that, one slip up and it's fucking not end of days,
over.
And it's that sort of thing. They've never seen Celtic in a title race before, and it's sort of like that. And it's also with things like Carl Starfelt, especially this season. I feel like a lot of people have been getting carried away when he's been doing alright. I'm like, right, let's rein it in a wee bit. I've said that in this podcast before, but because there's a dodgy moment there, and as soon as there's a dodgy moment, people go, he's back again. I'm like, you can't do it. You can't do that. You need to just sort of stick it out. He's only been here 6 months.
Yep.
You got to let him try and find his feet. Because I remember seeing before he came, the mad guy saying that Ruben Kazani was quite dodgy, but then for like the past 6 months he'd sort of upped his game, and I think that's obviously how he came onto our radar, to be honest. But I think it would just be perseverance with Starfelt. But I think it's this reactionary thing where people, when it's gone good, it's gone brilliant, but when it's gone bad, it's gone fucking terrible. Like there needs to be a middle ground that people don't just get carried away either way. But I mean, your football fans, it's an emotional, the emotion behind it, like that's why it happens. But it's just it's something that needs to sort of be reined in.
Because obviously you got dug up, McGinley, for your tweet on Boxing Day.
Both opinions can exist.
I know. I feel bad for you, because obviously you were just highlighting that in the game as well, specifically because his error did lead to a goal, that he had mistakes in his game. He does have mistakes in his game.
Seen it.
But it doesn't mean you can't like this player.
It's actually been that long since the games. I forgot. Like, it's mush. I forgot what the games were.
A lot of drinking in that period as well. What were you going to say, McGinley?
This is the thing. You make one opinion on Twitter, and it's got to be stapled to you. You can't change your opinion. That's it.
I've always hated that. Like, especially obviously doing YouTube, what I say is out there for everybody to see, and I'm doing it on a daily basis. people, I mean, last season obviously in particular, people were like, oh, at the start of the season you love Neil Lennon. Well, yes, that's what happens. Things change. You don't fucking, it feels like once you've said something, you can't, it's an opinionated game. And opinions change, it's like...
You don't hold the same opinion forever.
Aye. And it wasn't like you came out that day and said... It would be different if you put up a tweet on Boxing Day saying, Carl Starfield isn't good enough for Celtic. Don't rate him at all.
I know, I deleted that one in August, to be fair. To be fair, there was an absolute shocker. I posted that at the AZ Alkmaar game.
Oh, you fucking clown. I'm not backing up anymore. What'd you say?
It was after that own goal. And I had a drink at that point. I can't even remember what I said. But
I don't even remember that game.
You were on... I know, near the no a chance.
We didn't get to go to the home.
So what you're saying is, the boy who'd played for us for about 3 games at the time, you just threw under the bus straight away and disregarded. You didn't support your guy.
No, but I was saying the same things about Julian as well when we signed him. I don't know if you remember the Dunfermline game. Remember the extra time?
No, I left the one game, and I've said this millions of times, the one game I've left early in my life.
I just don't understand how it could have been that cold. I was walking that
freezing.
Day.
Absolutely.
It was
August. Freezing. I was in shorts. It's a fucking wind. It's a wind ball, really man. Cold. It was a fucking freezing day, man. I went in the shorts and a Sellik top, and I thought I was going to get pneumonia.
The coldest I've ever been at a game was Kilmarnock away back in 2016.
Oh, aye.
The cunt in their own front kept farting and they kept telling me, sorry boys, I'm like, pure raging like, you smelly bastard.
The coolest one for me was Astra. That was due to the rain. I don't know, we use that game?
Astra.
I can't even mind.
Fucking Vauxhall Astra.
I forgot what it was like to be
dry. Can't mind last month. When
did we play Astra?
2014.
Yeah, I can't remember them back that far. There's not a chance.
Shevchevich in your hands and scored. I remember that.
Maybe. I
would have been, man, but see some of the games for that era.
The Dialect era, all the games I went to in the Dialect era, like it honestly could not fucking pick them out a bag, man. Like so obviously the memorable. I
remember going through like Murrayfield and all that. That was good. But
I remember the one game that just stands out to me in the Dialect era. I remember being at was Dialect's last game. I remember that 7-0 against Motherwell. I remember that. That stands out. But every game is just mushed into like one.
I was actually talking about something yesterday. I was talking about it with my dad, and I was like, I think I was talking about Scott Allen or something. I don't know why. Obviously, got him in the back of my top. That's another mistake.
Get your hair like him as well.
It's true. It's getting.
Seen some of his fucking tweets, by the way.
Gary Hood.
Have you seen some of them? Fuck weird me. Kid, what a weird man.
I don't watch porn often, but he says stuff that's a bit sus.
But I do like in watching gifs of women. And I know I wasn't going to go
know the rest.
And you know the rest. If you're on Twitter, you know the rest.
But, I was talking to my dad yesterday about Scott. I was saying we'll always have that goal where it was Christie, Roberts and Allen all linking up.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, I remember watching it. I was like, this is just prime dial-a-ball.
Prime dial-a-ball. Right, we got a wee bit off track, but Carl Starfield, fucking support your player. Look, if you don't think he's that great, that's fine, but don't fucking Jesus Christ. I think he's been 9 times out of 10 very good this season. No, not very good, but good.
So that's the thing, but like
8 times out of 10.
I don't support people having a go at him, but the majority of the support, ourselves included, absolutely berate Mikey Johnson.
I mean, he's pish.
So that's what I mean. Like,
but he is.
We can't have it both ways. Like, I agree. Mikey Johnson is absolute garbage, and I don't know. I feel like time slipped my way in terms of even putting him out on loan. I don't think it's going to work out. But I don't know. It's one of the ones you need to see people are going to have an opinion. You might not like it. Probably shouldn't, but I mean the vast majority of Celtic fans actually tear into Mikey Johnson, and I'm not immune for criticism. If I could play devil's advocate for a minute,
just a wee bit hypocritical by myself. Sorry, Mikey.
The thing is, for centre halves, you're not going to be the finished article. We got very, very lucky with Van Dijk being basically the finished article. Yeah. No one can tell me he's improved that much from now to Liverpool, because he was doing the same things at Celtic, albeit at a lesser level. But 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be signing the finished article at centre half, so they're going to make mistakes.
Yep. And
it seems as if some Celtic fans, I'm not going to say all Celtic fans, but a wee minority, like to paint centre half's a scapegoat, not a scapegoat, as in
it's the case in football,
is this you bringing out your fucking pro Dedrick Boyata voice?
No, I'm
here?
going to say pro Christopher Ayer as well, because people were saying he was a bomb scare, and he wasn't. He'd be brilliant in Ange Ball, guaranteed.
Oh, he would be. I wish.
I loved Ayer. The whole thing with Ayer that people rewrite in the past is because they've got a lot of people, as soon as anybody leaves Celtic, they just become bitter towards ex-players, and it's like, fine, if you don't want to be here, I'm like, Celtic isn't the be-all and end-all for these players. Like, you can maybe understand people saying it with Tierney because he came here and he was Mr. Celtic, or try to say he was Mr. Celtic and that, but what does Christopher Ayer and Odsonne Edouard and
Celtic,
what did he owe Celtic? I would give them a platform, but I mean somebody else would have. We just be happy that we got some good years out of these players. I mean, it hurts that the fact that Celtic aren't the be-all and end-all for all these players. They don't want to come here and spend their careers. It's disheartening, it's sad, but this is the reality of Celtic now. We're no the end goal for all these foreign players. They don't dream of coming to play for Celtic, and as much as we don't like it, we're a bit of a stepping stone, and you would rather no be, and that's what you hope we can kind of move away from. But if you want players of genuine quality, you're going to need to realise that reality is somebody else is going to see that quality and they're going to want to take them.
Yep.
I think we should take a leaf from some of the out of the book of some of the Japanese fans. You look at some of the Gambo Saka fans and Kawasaki Frontal fans. They're so happy to see their player going to better.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, not that far, but
I like the fact as well. Just another wee point on it: the ages that we're signing the players through Japan. I think good ages, to be
great age.
No, but I think in terms of getting the best years out of players, I think that's the sort of age you want to be. But I think it's in Japan as well. Like, the players don't really break into the teams until like 21, 22 if they come through the university. They've got a university system out there, and they won't be playing until they actually leave university, so they won't be in the actual teams until 21, 22. So I think that's the way it works.
Never knew that. It's going to be fact. Learn something new every day.
So, what do you call it? Tati's. It was quite interesting on his Wikipedia that he'd only played about 40, 50 senior games. It's quite incredible.
Talking about the Wikipedia, it was fun looking at, was it Maida's getting edited? And it was like Dyson, Ryan 118, Bobby Sands, Maida.
I still think Maida's primary school being Cardinal Newman was absolutely hilarious. Brilliant. I don't know why.
Superb. Oh no, it was Riley McGree's who was getting changed rapid. That's it. It was like Riley, fucking Ryan 118, Bobby Sands, McGree, the fucking
Smiley McGree, man.
He would have been a good player for us, but at the same time, he couldn't be
Let's
guaranteed a first time.
Let's not waste the time on it. Right, we got really off track. Back forward, I went with.
Fuck, we doing the team now?
Oh my god!
That's how we fucking went off, right? Very quickly. Just tell me if you agree with my team or no. I went Hart. With Vickers and Starfelt with the centre halves. I've went Taylor and Juranovic.
Yep.
I don't think Ralphson will start. No. A lot of people in my comment section yesterday were like, what the fuck, man? That. I was like, well, listen, I explained nothing bitter against Ralphson here. I just don't think he'll start tomorrow. I think that Ange still fully appreciates him and he'll play all sorts for the rest of the season, but I just don't think he'll play tomorrow.
That's fair.
Middle three, I'm going with, personally, I think it would be Todd McGregor, Rogic.
I think that's where we'll stick with.
Yeah,
I think so. And then the front three, I did in my video say Jota, but I regret putting Jota in now. I don't think Jota will start.
I don't think they're rushing back.
Nah,
I'd rather we didn't.
So I think it will be Abada. I think it could be Yakimakis and Maida because he spoke a lot about Yakimakis this week. So I think it could be that front three.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Aye. I mean, if Forrest is in contention, I don't know. I think he might throw a wee curveball, but I'd rather he played Abada.
Yeah. We got Abada.
Yeah.
He's in a wing.
Aye, I feel bad in saying this for Forrest, but if it's between Forrest and Abada, it's got to be Abada for his pace.
Oh, aye.
And he needed the break.
What was the last game we were at Celtic Park?
Motherwell.
1-0. Christ almighty. That was the 12th of December. Was that?
That was before Higgins got...
That's right, aye. And there was a silent protest. Fuck me.
So we've got a bounce in Celtic Park.
Life. It's been a minute. And that, how he's, before we move on, let's just have a wee bit of, a nice wee bit of chit chat before we move on to the last few things. Have you enjoyed your winter break? What have you been doing over the course of it? I have became an avid F1 fan. You know, I've been telling you every night. I'm genuinely obsessed.
I thought there was something up with you the other night, and I was like, "What's up?" And you were like, "Oh, it was just the race I had."
So I've been sweating. I've been sweating the game playing it like every fucking night till 3 a.m. I watched all 3 seasons of Drive to Survive.
Same.
I've been watching all the F1 YouTubers, listening to podcasts and work. I'm proper cluing myself up in the sport and all that. Like, I'm loving it. Shout out to the Scuderia F1 podcast. We're friends now. They gave me a wee mail and all that. I was like, cheers.
And
guys.
he's got proper into it. When I came out of the house this morning, he was picking it up. He was practicing changing his tyre.
We started there with you again. What? Aye, so you've started taking a wee interest in it as well, haven't you, Kieran?
Aye, watching it, Drive to Survive is class,
Oh,
man.
superb. I highly recommend.
I never used to, like, see, I feel like with a sport like F1, you need to sort of know the personalities not behind the drivers, because, see, otherwise it's just motors going around a track. And that's what I've always looked at. F1 has been, if you see it, like, years ago, I used to watch it on Channel 4, and I'm like, it's just 70 laps and
I
motors
remember
going
that.
around
I
a track.
liked it back in 2012 because I'd done my Spanish report on Fernando Alonso in first year. I remember that, and I liked it then. But I didn't follow it for ages and ages and ages. I kind of kept up with the winners and such, but I'm loving it, getting into all the characters. Gunther Steiner, brilliant. I love Christian Horner. I know he's very controversial. Have you picked a team, Kieran, for its support for this new season?
I don't really know, to be honest.
I'm a Red Bull man, me.
It's weird because I like the cunts from McLaren and also Ferrari.
Aye,
I love Carlos Sainz, man.
It was a toss up between Red Bull and Ferrari for me, and then what sealed the deal was when they zoomed into wee Perez's motor and they had the Pope. I was like, that's it. It's got to be sealed there. Had the Pope in his motor.
He sounds like my sort of guy.
He's good. I like him. He's a wee Mexican boy. He's nice.
Mexican.
Boy's
about 30.
Yeah, he's a very. What about you, Ryan? We've been F1.
I also watched all the Star Wars films.
Oh, that's right. So you did. He's caught up with the Star Wars build, which is great.
Did you bother with the last 3?
Oh,
I did, yes. I actually watched them on the one day and I felt disgusting after it.
It's sickening, especially the Last Jedi.
Oh,
I mean, that is
Jesus.
awful.
Episode
But a lot of people like it.
I know.
What did you do?
For me, I was watching a lot of films.
You've been bashing the films, haven't you? Gangster films.
See any? I was
Scorsese.
Scorsese movies, man, absolutely brilliant.
Did you watch Shutter Island?
Yeah, I watched that the other night, man. Plot twist in that. Crazy.
I watched a fair amount of films, but it got sidetracked with having to watch all the Star Wars ones. I've watched many other ones. I've got a list that I've had for like a year that I want to try and get through some like, films that I should have seen but haven't. But then I decided to watch 11 fucking Star Wars films.
See, that's what I'm doing. I've made one of those wee lists that app that you can use. Yeah. So I watched all the Godfather movies. I watched Casino, which was brilliant. I highly recommend Casino. Wolf of Wall Street, I finished that for the first
I can't
time.
believe you've never seen Wolf of Wall Street.
I've watched like the first hour of it but fell asleep. I don't know how you can fall asleep at Wolf of Wall Street. It's a good movie.
Brilliant.
It's that lad movie in it.
It's the pure, as I said to you when we were talking about it, it's the pure basic answer to what's your favourite film ever. Wolf of Wall Street.
It is good though. Like
get some personality, mate.
It's Scorsese. What other movies did I see? Shutter Island was good.
Just to end off this wee section of the show.
Film
I know, Celtic film podcast. Just to
I
end
could
off.
do a film podcast.
What's the best film you've watched over the course of the break? Then was it a Star Wars film for you, Kieran, or was it something else?
I watched Shutter Island. I watched The Big Shot with Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling, and that's a good film.
I watched that.
You can get a wee bit hangy with all the jargon and all that, and it talk about like the actual financial stuff. That's a great film. But I don't know. I watched other ones, but I think they're probably the two standouts.
Not even episode 3. Fuck you.
Nah, the Star Wars ones is a separate kind of thing. I think
entertainment.
I'd say it's like in my favourite films now, but it's just a separate thing.
Best film you watched?
Godfather Part 2.
Part 2.
It's absolutely incredible. Now you see people talk about The Godfather Part 2 being as one of the best films of all time. See, after you've watched Part 1, because I watched them, it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just watched them all consecutively. Incredible. Al Pacino. Surely one of the greats.
I watched Django as well, actually.
Phenomenal.
Best film I watched over the winter break was Tick Tick Boom.
Andrew Garfield.
Mate, don't say Christ. I don't know what you're Christing it. It is phenomenal. Like a really good 10 out of 10 movie. Generally,
was that the best movie that Andrew Garfield was in?
Yes, absolutely. Undoubtedly.
Not even The Social Network.
I think that's Andrew Garfield's best film. And it shows how good an actor he is. Yep, I think it's his best film. He got the Golden Globe for it the other day, so
he's a phenomenal actor.
I think he'll be high up in the Oscar list for it as well. Probably it was a very, very good film. If you're not into musicals, then you probably won't like it out. But it's not one of the pure.
We actually spoke for a good film.
It's not like that out there sort of musical. It's like it's really, really good. Really good. Right. Anyway, Sellik.
Jesus Christ.
Wonder what Andrew's favourite next fan media. Just wondering, what's your favourite film, Dyson? Oh, right. let's go.
Oh, the fans film.
The fan song. I like Whitney Houston, yeah. Let's go to the Twitter questions. We didn't gather that many today. I left it quite late. I should have really put up a tweet last night. I usually let McGinley do this segment, but we are fucking talking, so I've got it here.
I'm sure there's another sidetrack to come.
Sideshow Bob, listening to the show. He's came in with a question for The Simpsons. What's your favourite Sideshow Bob episode? We're big Simpsons fans, so
I don't know.
there's a lot of good ones, isn't there?
I like The Great Louse Detective, season 14.
I can't remember the name of the episode because I'm not that drilled in yet to the names and such, but I think my favourite one is... I love the one that the Simpsons get moved and they're on the boat. You know what I'm talking about?
What one?
It's the one they get moved because Bob's out of the jail and they get moved and he's on the boat. The one who's on the boat and Bart makes him sing the whole play.
Oh, that's
and he gets back to Springfield.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear. That's it. That's how could I forget the name?
That's a classic one. It's a classic one, but I just like the story behind the other one.
Cape Fear's definitely my favourite one.
I'll need to watch through all this
Oh,
because I've got Disney Plus.
I mean, you can maybe take it or leave it after like season 19, but I mean,
just let me know when I stop.
Don't stop.
A lot of it's pish.
Oh,
no, I have watched a couple of the recent
don't be
ones.
disrespectful.
Come on.
Don't be disrespectful.
Well, if I was started to, then that cunt's Twitter name throws back into it.
Sideshow Bob. I see people like this. Some.
I don't know.
Are you happy with the transfer window? I am, to be honest. Is there any other area of the squad that you'd like to see strengthened? There's two areas for me. Left back, I think Taylor's all right, but we could do better than him. And a backup keeper, Bain and Barkas, are not good enough. Now, I was saying in my video yesterday, I think it's a big 6 months for Taylor. If the faith's been putting him, he needs to show that we don't need a new one. But in the window in general, Kieran, how are you feeling about it?
I mean, pretty happy. I mean, I feel like I would like another player or two in just for the actual squad depth, because it's going to be a tough run into the end of the season, especially if we can actually go on a wee run in the Conference League as well, if we get a favourable draw, if we get through against Bodo Glimt. So it'll be a tough set of congested fixtures, man. So I don't know a specific area, but I mean, if we've got Julian in that back, we've got Welsh's depth, I think you're alright at centre half. I kind of like the idea of another midfielder, but if you bring in another midfielder, then you want them to be of quality, but a quality player's not going to want to come and no be like a guaranteed starter. So it's weird. You don't want to just sign players for the sake of it.
Yeah,
because they wanted to thin out the squad because it was quite bloated with dead wood sort of thing, and you don't want to bring in, get rid of some and then bring in more. This doesn't make sense.
What about you?
I think
McGinley.
We need another attacking midfielder, and that's just purely based on the Hamish put up a list of all the different positions, and you look at the amount of players we're going to lose in February in that attacking midfielders role. You look at Rogic, Hatate can play there, Turnbull's still out injured. That's all of a sudden a problem area.
What's the news that Jai sent about like players not having to go? Because I was trying to read through it, it's just screeds and screeds of writing, but
I've not had the chance to actually look right into it, to be quite honest.
I don't know, the way, like, I know Japan have got a game like soon that's just J-League players that are getting called up for, but then after that it's...
Just to read it out, Qatar Games Asia from the 17th, director Hajime Moriyasu responded to an online interview on the 16th, and DF Maya Yoshida, Sherigu Moruya and Karyu Sanjirosh will play against China on the 27th, blah blah blah. Right, Kyogo Furuhashi. Oh, he said it is difficult to convene Kyogo Furuhashi. Fucking so much right in here.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Furuhashi also returned from a wind in the right thigh against St Johnstone in December 26th last year. Director Moriyashi said it's painful for the team, but it hurts you the most. So it looks as though Kyogo's not going. That's good. That's good.
Gives him time to recover.
It does. Yeah, so that, okay, I like that. Centre attack midfielder and left back was the two that I was thinking. But I think that'll probably be us to...
Because Turnbull's out until...
Yeah. I would have loved us to get Hannes Wolf if it was possible. I would have loved that, but here we are.
Well, I mean, Andrew's saying we're not signing them deals.
Well, it said for now. No.
Unless something extraordinary comes up.
So let's just hope something extraordinary does come up, but I'm pretty certain that'll probably be done. Cal, I never realised we had a superstar that listens to the podcast. Cal Luke, Triquare, is that how you pronounce that? Cal Luke, 300,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
Massive, mate. Massive, bigger than this fucking podcast. Listens to the show. Thank you for listening. He's asked the 5 substitute rule benefits us, but to what extent, considering our new depth, it's massively beneficial, I think, to allow opportunities for players, I would suggest.
Massive. especially to like rest players after 60 minutes as well. It'd be great if we can be 2-3 goals up against a team and then be able to take Callum McGregor off. Because you think about the amount of games he'll play this season.
I know.
They go into the 50s probably.
It's obvious that it's going to massively benefit Celtic and Rangers and any team with a massive squad with quality through, as I said earlier. So it's only a good thing. But I mean, this season you've looked to our bench before and like, Jesus Christ, there's nobody I would even bring on there. But hopefully we've now at the stage we've got a few more players in the door. People come back for injury. Now that we actually could look to the bench and actually think there's game changers there.
Yep.
I'm going to make a controversial opinion.
Go on.
I think 5 subs should stay. I think that should be a permanent
Yeah,
thing.
you're just fucking.
I think
The
it
amount
just
of
ruins
muscle
it. Like, say everything's back to normal. Everything's the way it used to be, but now Celtic, when they go a few goals up, can just take half their team off. Like, how that just doesn't seem fair to anybody else in the league. Like,
I'm just looking at it from a selfish point
He's
of view.
looking at it for the
I want us to
modernisation. You just
I just think I don't. If it's no broke, don't fix it. Right, aye. Fuck me, my head's mush. I
As
was
long
like, I
as the
say that right.
concussion sub's still there, or
Aye,
an
no,
injury
I feel
sub.
that's a genuine thing, like for medical reasons, but it's just something that teams like us can exploit.
I preferred it when football fans were men.
Christ.
You know,
Aye.
we liked all our fucking players being tough. Get on, I'm
And
joking.
injured.
But you're for the modernisation, everything. We are so different when it comes to a lot of opinions, but like when it comes to modernisation and not, I'm all up for the modernisation of football, but only to a certain extent. I like my game the way it is.
If something can be improved upon, then so be it.
I
You've
don't
got to keep
think
an
5 is-
open
Yeah,
mind.
look, listen, it's a podcast for another day, isn't it? Right. What's next? If worst comes to Shior is asking, if worst comes to worst and Barkas leaves, do you think we need a new keeper? Now,
We need a new keeper.
I think Barkas leaving is a devastating thought, and it looks as though we've avoided it for another window, which is good. But I think we do need another keeper. But there is obviously the talk of Toby Oluwayemi being quite a decent player as well, coming through the
Brother's a
system.
goalkeeper as well.
Yeah.
Plays for Spurs.
That's right. But yeah, we probably do need another keeper, I'd say, at some point. Maybe looking at that.
Yeah, because Scott Bain isn't good enough.
No, he's
as
not.
well.
But I think we spoke about this before on the podcast.
Yeah, we have.
I wouldn't mind Secret coming in as a
Seen
backup
that
goalie.
Rangers were linked with him.
So Luke has asked a big question here because Ange hasn't ruled it out. That was in the papers last night. Do you want the games to be postponed?
No.
No. I don't want them being postponed. I'll bring fucking Rangers on. I just want to play them.
I know. I don't care.
Aye.
The precedent's been set yesterday with that North London derby getting
Yeah.
called off.
That's
for
ridiculous,
COVID cases
man.
and injuries.
One COVID case.
That's crazy.
No, but it's because as long as COVID's a factor, so all it takes is one person to have COVID, and that's it counts as it being a
crazy.
COVID
Sorry.
thing.
I know.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Fucking actual joke, man.
They shat it. And we'll go for a couple more. Glasgow Rebel.
There's a couple more coming in now.
Aye, you're fucking flying in. There's a few I want to get to, but Glasgow Rebel, do you think the signing of Rio Hatate, we have finally got a replacement for Prime Lately after all these years?
I don't know about lately. I've not seen enough.
I
of
know,
him to
I know it's
make
quite hard to make
comparisons.
comparisons with it.
I loved Joe Ledley.
Oh,
fucking
fuck,
loved
what a
him. What a
man.
player. I remember I was in Blackpool when we
I was
signed him.
buzzing when we signed him.
Same, I was in
Blackpool.
Blackpool.
So much about him down there.
Aye. I was in Blackpool when we signed him, and I just remember like this was before I had this was what 20. What year did we sign him? 10 or 11? 11.
2010.
I mean, they were
2010.
getting linked to it. I'm a triple deal at that point, and it was meant to be Joe Ledley, Jimmy Bullard, and who's the one that Lee Lawrence or something? The one that used to play for Stoke, like with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
I remember in the paper seeing that. I was pure amazed because I was proper into my English football back then as well. Like I used to watch Match of the Day. That was when I first started watching Match of the Day, and that probably. And I'd seen all these cunts. I was like,
The heyday of English football. I remember because this was before I had a phone or anything. I just remember walking past by the newsagents in Blackpool, and it was like the back page of the record, and it was like Joe Ledley heads to Celtic, and I was fucking buzzing, man.
That just seems so foreign, like getting your news that way.
I know,
now.
mate. I cannot believe there was a
You've got it
time
at
that like I
your
got it at like the paper or the telly.
When you were abroad as well. Now this is I didn't have a phone either, so you didn't get. Or the only sort of online you got was if you put like £1 into
And
one
a
of those
computer in the
machines.
lobby or
Aye, for
something.
10 minutes.
Aye.
Your dad goes down and gets a black and white copy of the Daily Record because
That-
they couldn't get it in
exactly,
colour.
and I remember the Tony Mowbray season quite vividly because of that. 'Cause every day there seemed to be a new player coming in.
Aye.
It was crazy, but it's mental.
Christ, it's mental how much the world has changed in such a
10
short
years,
space of
10,
time.
12 years.
It's fucking alien 10 years ago, man. I don't know if that's probably because I was 11-year-old, 10-year-old, and I didn't have a lot of things like like maybe if I was 21 back then it would be so much different.
Yeah,
But it's baffling how much things change. World's round. Right, a couple more. Kieran, we've got to get Kieran in, who's listening to the show, hopefully, on his drive to Cowden Beef. Fucking love Kieran, what a lad.
I didn't know who he was for about 20 minutes, then I realised. I put two and two together, I was like...
He's asked, has McGinley recovered yet for his first experience in the brig?
Aye, that was claustrophobic, man.
Claustrophobic?
But it was a good night.
A brilliant night, really good.
I remember me and you singing Japanese Boy.
Oh, aye, that's right, aye.
And no one else was singing it apart from the chorus.
I'm surprised my hoodie's recovered, man. Every pint I had, I think I spilt half
Mate,
it, didn't
they
it, man?
need to
that ledge.
That's about to say. Sort that fucking ledge out. If anybody for the brig listens to this, fucking hell. I was getting blamed for spilling all these drinks. I'm like, it's the fucking ledge, man. It's in a squint. Don't put your drink there. Fucking cunts get putting it down.
That was the last time I had a fizzy juice too.
Was it?
I had to because of the mixers, because they ran out of.
You not had a
lemonade.
drink since?
Well, I
been
drank
sober for that long?
No. I mean a fizzy juice. That's
Wait.
the last time I had a fizzy juice.
So what did you have? Wait, what?
You said because they ran out of lemonade.
Aye, they ran out of lemonade for the mixers for the vodka.
So what? Wait, what?
So that because the. I'm confused now.
Yeah, I'm
Do
fucking
you-
confused.
Lemonade is fizzy.
Aye, but like like proper like fizzy juice like. Aye, I know lemonade's fizzy.
Your
but
tongue shite, boy.
like
Here's
proper
my
gassy drink like Coke. Last time I had a Coke.
The last time you had a fucking Coke, then.
A Coke or a
Iron
nine brew,
brew, right.
a proper gassy
Right,
stuff.
right, okay, right. So you've had fucking fizzy juice, right? Christ.
You know it's insane.
I will, okay. And
I don't want to look at fizzy juice again after this conversation, man.
and who is sexier? AJ Celtic's asking, Jota or Rogic?
He said, to be clear, headband Jota.
Oh,
Gotta be.
a headband. I mean, we've seen in other sports you've seen hooded Carmelo Anthony, you've seen masked Kyrie Irving. I want to see.
You've seen
Jota.
Fucking Bobble Brock Lesnar.
It's like headband Fernando
Baldy Brown.
Torres, man.
Baldy Brun. What'd you say?
Headband Fernando Torres at Liverpool, man.
Peace.
Baller.
I think that's us. I think we've got a quiz to do to end off the show, but I think that's all the questions. Some lovely conversation today, and that means for the last segment of the show, let's do it. Let's get on to the as Kieran all the yawns his way into it.
Fucking
Shattered there. Was up early this morning after that wee booze last night. It was good wee booze. I went to the DJ. I was like, "Here's a wee bit of Hot and Cold" by Katy Perry.
As soon as I seen you there, I was like,
They happily obliged, and it was a good night all round. So yes, it's time for a quiz, and it's been such a long time. I've missed hosting these wee quizzes, and I've missed doing them. I can't even remember who. We've got a new 2022 table. That's it. Bang.
Wow.
That's it. The table has reset.
I ran a fucking mock in
2021, there's champion gear though, but this year I'm going to try and make it fairer so that we all get like an equal participation in the quizzes.
you need to keep a-
And I'll keep a wee
track,
league.
yeah.
I'll keep a wee league table, and at the end of the year, the winner can get a wee gift from me. And if I'm the winner, then
Wait, so we're doing it in
Right.
calendar year, but
Yes.
no, the football season,
we'll
in
do
which we
calendar
talk
year.
about.
We'll do calendar year.
Right.
Right, we'll do calendar year. So well done, Kieran. You got your. I owe you a gift, by the way. I don't know when I'll get you or give you it, but
Why?
I treated. So that was nice to the boys for helping out with the podcast for the last year, you know. So for New Year, I got Kieran 20 snout, and I got Cal my box of beer.
He did offer me a beer, to be fair, but I said, no, what? Save me got to the shops.
Take a snout. So big gun, like at some point you'll get a fucking case of cider or something. I don't know.
Perfect.
Right, okay, the Sellik the Thunder quiz, first of 2022, and because Kieran Auld was our champion in 2021, probably, I will let you choose first if you would like Seti or Set B.
I'm going to let McGinley choose because I've not heard the questions, but Ryan gave us an inkling.
What could be the better first question?
He mentioned something like that, so I'll let you pick because I'm aware of it.
I'll go set one then. I need to change it up. I usually pick second.
So you're going.
He's
I'll
going
go
to
Seti.
say,
Right, okay. Set A is a really tasty question, but also Set B's first question is quite good, but I think that the Set A question one is probably more of a head banger.
Great.
So this is the one I told Kieran about. I didn't tell him the question, but I told him it was quite an interesting question. Right, Set A's question. Jota has played with Barea, Hadji, Smith Rowe and Floverts during his Portugal under-21 career. True or false?
Can you name the players again?
Barea, he's played against Barea, Hadji, Smith Rowe and Floverts during his Portugal under-21 career. True or false?
Portugal under 21.
Quite a head thing. You got to think about ages. You got to think about blah blah. Well, obviously, as we know, McGinley takes his time anyway.
I'm trying to think. Haji's a bit older, although he's about only 23, 24. And Jota did play a lot of games for the under 21s. Yeah, I'll just go true.
It's correct, it is true. It's a good question.
I wasn't expecting a true or false.
I tell you that.
Did you?
I said it's a true or false, by the way.
Alright,
Aye.
I knew that.
It's a true or false for you anyway as well.
Like what player played against all these players for these under 21s?
So there you go, true. Well done. Matthew Quiz. Matthew quizzed off. Thank you for the quiz again, as always. Right, Kieran, as you fall asleep there.
I'm ready for my kit run.
Ange Postecoglou has managed against Sir Alex Ferguson. True or false?
False.
If you watched my video at this when Ange came in, you would have known this because it's true. He managed
videos.
What?
Is it?
Yep, it's true. I put it in the Ange Postecoglou fact video where I got boys analytics on and stuff.
Like by the Man United pre-season?
No, it was actually in the Club World Cup in 2000 after Manchester United won. So South Melbourne were champions of Oceania.
Because I knew he'd played against
whatever.
Brendan Rodgers and Pep.
And he managed against Alex Ferguson in the 2000 Club World Cup. So there you go, the more you know. So 1-0 to McGinley in the first quiz of the year. McGinley, can you make it 2-0? Who is the only Celtic player in the usual starting 11 to score in the Carabao Cup? The English League Cup. It doesn't have to just be exclusively the Carabao phase. It can be Carling.
Somebody
in our Celtic squad in the usual 11 has scored in the League Cup in England.
Just going through them all.
I think I know who I'd answer.
Carter Vickers.
Wrong.
That's what I said as well.
You guys say Carter Vickers?
I've not really sat and went through the entire squad.
The correct answer might surprise you, but it's Callum McGregor when he played for Notts County. Scored against Fleetwood in the 2013.
You'd think it would be Carter Vickers. I mean, I know he's a centre off, but just because of how many English clubs he's played for.
Yep, there you go. Which is the last team to be defeated, Kieran? 2-1 by Celtic, other than the cup final. So our last 2-1 win.
Last 2-1 win? Christ. Fucking barely remember the cup final, man. Never mind before that.
Chance to equalise here, big chance. 2-1 win for Celtic.
I don't even know who we played, man. Like, try to go back on the game. There's so many games in December. I don't even know if there was a 2-1 in there. Oh, fuck, I don't even know a 2-1 that's happened this season. Try to think about it. Genuine, see, in my head now, I cannot remember one single Celtic result. If you can't remember,
you'd better guess a team, but I thought you would have got this.
I'll kick myself, but I see right now, see the way I'm trying to think, I don't remember a single result of this season.
The comments are screaming at you right now. I can hear everybody, but everybody's behind us screaming, shouting at you.
My head's fucking mush, sorry everybody. Aberdeen. I don't know.
Ross County, innit?
Tony Ralston.
Christ. That's what I'm saying. I actually forgot that game even happened.
I know, you never even seen it. Tony Ralston, 90th fucking
97
minute. Aye. Poor game.
Honestly.
Poor. So still 1-0 to McGinley. To make it 2-0, name the last Celtic player to score a brace in a cup final. Oh. That's wrong.
Brace in a cup final?
Aye.
Griffiths, because he scored twice.
Did Kyogo not just score in the cup final, score a brace?
You mean before that?
Before Kyogo.
Well, it wouldn't be Griffiths anyway. You are wrong.
Why not?
It's not Griffiths.
He scored twice against Hearts.
No, he didn't. He only scored once.
Twice against Hearts?
Aye, in the empty stadium. He only scored one.
You sure?
Aye, he only scored one. So you're wrong. Who would it have been? Do you know? Edward. Yep. He only scored one. Aye. He didn't say. He didn't say he scored. He will mean it. He will mean it. But you would have got it wrong anyway. McGinley unlucky. He's certainly like Griffiths scored twice. He didn't because was it Christie?
Christie scored the brief.
Aye, Christie, Edward, and Griff. Aye,
yeah,
McGinley. Unlucky. Right, here now you can equalise on question 3. Right, big chance. The first black player to play for Celtic, Jill Heron, came from which country?
Oh, I've looked that up before. Fucking, or
is it Gill? Jill or Gill?
I don't know. I've never known the proper way to say it. Fuck, I don't know. Jamaica.
Correct. There you go. Jamaica is the correct answer. So it's 1 apiece. McGinley to take the lead again. In 1970, Celtic drew 3 each with Benfica over 2 legs in the European Cup. How was the winner decided? My dad tells me about this all the time.
It's a coin toss.
Coin toss is correct. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine
Celebrating.
mate, imagine sitting there watching that on the telly like, oh
like
my
VR, but
god.
worse.
Everyone in the stadium.
What's your landing on? Fucking hell. Right, coin toss was the answer. Celtic then complained despite winning the coin toss, and penalties were quickly introduced to football. So there you go, Celtic instrumental.
Trailblazers, always trailblazers.
Always trailblazers. Imagine we're still doing coin tosses to this day somehow.
Everybody's like, 10 minutes watching it.
Cameras are in right in
You
here.
still don't even get a coin nowadays now. Everything's
Do you remember
contactless.
there was a show like a few years ago, and the whole basis of it was heads or tails, and I don't even, it was like fucking Keith Lemon or somebody hosted it, and it was genuinely like for money, and they would just have to sit and guess heads or tails the entire time, and the country that voices over Come Dine With Me, I'm sure, was like the cunt that actual like, it was doing the voiceover for that as well. I don't know, but I've just got it's pure Channel 5 shite, like something like that.
I don't remember that.
I'm sure that happened. See if this is part of a dream or something that I've dragged into reality with me. Look this up. Coin toss show. It might not be Keith Lemon, but I don't know.
I'm going to look this up, alright. Coin toss TV show.
Most won't be Keith Lemon that I've said that.
Series heads or tails.
Aye.
Heads or tails TV tropes. If anything can take... What the fuck is this? It's having Justin Lee Collins host a big money game show on Channel 5 that's literally just a high stake game of coin flipping. Who the fuck's Justin Lee Collins?
How do you not know who that is?
Who the fuck is that?
Now,
I'll make it
he get cancelled.
Justin Lee Collins.
Do you not remember
Who
him?
the
He
fuck's
was on
that?
Channel 4 all the time. There's a good
I've
documentary.
never been a Channel 4
Shows
man.
his face.
Who the fuck's that? You seen this prick?
I'm showing my age here a wee bit.
Who the fuck's this?
Aye. That's how I thought it was Keith Lemon. Look at the fucking hair.
Who the fuck's this? Never seen him in my puff.
No, but I just remember watching it.
Oh wait, I think I do it. I think I recognise him.
He done a good documentary where he went and lived with Steven Seagal for like 2 weeks. It's absolutely hilarious.
Aye, good on him, mate.
Right, get back to
back to the
quiz
quiz. So
after that.
that's
It was a flashback.
2-1 to you just now. Yeah?
Can't remember the Celtic scores, but I can remember that, man.
Aye, no, fuck's sake, Kim. Right, 2 each to make it 2 each. Joe Hart. Come on. Joe Hart made 127 clean sheets and 340 Premier League appearances. But how many Golden Gloves did he win?
Ooh. 2.
What would you have guessed?
3.
Mate, underestimating it's 4.
4.
4 Golden Gloves. He won it in 2010, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, and 14, 15. Petr Cech breaking his 5 in a row attempt. There you go. Joe Hart, well done, mate. But now, McGinley, you could be the first winner of the 2022 quiz. You could be off to you'd be top of the league table if you get this right. So here we go. Name the player that scored against Postecoglou's Australia in the 2015 AFC Asian Cup final.
Ideguchi.
Wrong.
What? He did?
Wrong.
He
Listen.
did score?
Is it well, apparently the answer is Heung-min Son.
The final?
Aye.
I thought Japan were... Oh, come on. Oh, my God.
Scored against. Listen to the question, mate. Listen to the question. Scored against his Australia. Mate, actually,
Aye, both from what?
different teams. Aye, sorry. I made a fool of myself.
Australia won that.
Aye, but it's
They not play Japan in the final?
no. Apparently they played South Korea.
That's not fair. I didn't hear the end of that question.
Listen to the question. I've not made a fool of
Oh,
myself. What a prat. You've bottled it, mate. You've bottled it. So, Kieran, this is huge, mate. This is huge.
How many
Huge,
count
Kieran.
with me, man?
Name 2 players that scored against Postecoglou in any games at the 2014 World Cup.
Fuck, who they play? They played Holland. I don't even know who else was in the group.
2 players.
Van Persie, one of them.
Van Persie's one of them. Just need one more.
Schneider? No.
Nah.
I don't even... What other teams did they play? I don't even remember 2014
So-
World Cup. I remember fucking...
Should I be allowed to tell him the group?
No.
Nah, that's cheating. I
I
think...
want to win.
I
That's
genuinely
really,
don't
really
know.
annoyed.
I'll give you one more attempt. Any name.
Who the fuck? Wait, so if they were in a group... They never made out the groups, did
No,
they?
I never made out the groups. 3 games.
That must have been that Spain and Holland were in the same group.
You'd be correct.
So, 2014, who's starting for Spain? Fuck. I don't know, I'm going to just go with... Okay, I'll go Iniesta. I don't know who scored for them.
Ryan McGinley, well done. You're the winner of the first 2022 quiz. Well done.
Did Memphis Depay score against?
So here is the pool of
Is he
players.
playing back in?
There's the pool of players. That's what
to
got
join
me.
Man United.
That's what got me his move to United. But that and Van Gaal, you know. Right. Here's your list of players you could have picked. Robin van Persie, as you correctly predicted, or correctly said, sorry. Arjen Robben.
I was actually thinking that. I went for
Arjen
Schneider,
Robben
man.
and Memphis Depay. That's the three you could have picked
I
from
didn't even
Holland.
keep saying the
Remember
fucking thing
Memphis
he scored at that
scoring?
point.
The top Max Schunemerein.
What?
Max. Oh my god, my voice. Max, super. Max for starting, mate.
How am I supposed to know that?
Cultured, mate. So
don't even start with that.
the Spanish players that you could have chose would have been David Villa,
I wasn't sure if he was still.
Juan Mata,
Yeah, good one.
and your man, mate.
Oh, fuck off. I was actually thinking
Torres.
Oh, wow.
Fernando
I just pure
Torres.
didn't
Whoever
fancy him
won
to have
this?
actual score.
Fernando Torres, your man. He would have been one of your options. And then for Chile, who were the last team in that group, you could have chose Alexis Sanchez,
I didn't even know they were in that group.
Jorge
What a awful
Valdivia,
group to get drawn
and
into, man.
Bosejur.
That's annoying, but because I was actually thinking Fernando Torres and Robin.
Yep.
But
There
I
you
was
go.
like, I don't even know if Fernando Torres done alright at that tournament or not.
Själv fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij die zijn held, inga maximaal.
Lost him, mate.
Right. So, tiebreaker question would have been, so we can get Kieran back to his bed. What percentage of Ralston's Celtic career appearances have came in the 21-22 season? That would have been the question.
Just had to guess closest to it.
And what would you guess, roughly? How much has his career's been played this season at Celtic?
65.
I just said 70.
61. Very close guess, mate. And that's it. That's the quiz. McGinley's top of the league. Next time, my brains will be up against your lack of brawn.
What an unnecessary thing to say.
No. Wait, what's the time, man? It's bedtime.
1:45
Fuck me.
this afternoon. We're due out of here at 1 o'clock, so we better get a shift on. Thank you all for listening back at your homes or in your cars or whatever you've been doing. I hope you have a spectacular week with Celtic returning tomorrow night. We'll be back. When do we play Alloa and Hart? When's your next
We
game?
play Alloa on Saturday.
So we'll be back Sunday next week. We're off it anyway. Well, it depends who comes.
We
Depends
go
who
to
comes.
the B team game on Saturday.
Aye.
Can they start doing that thing for the website
Yeah.
for college?
You can well, you've got access to the pressers and shit. So yeah, we'll be back next week with a podcast. Hopefully Callum Craig might be here. We don't know, we'll see who the cast is. McGinley, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Kieran, thank you for being here.
Thank you for dragging me out of my bed to talk for an hour and a half about Celtic.
It's always a highlight of the week, mate. It's always a highlight of the week. Like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify, please make sure to follow the show and do everything you can to support us on that platform. And yeah, we'll see you all next time.